So welcome to Hound State Park. We're going to give you a tour of the park, talk about some of the sites. Some of the highlights that I'll point out before we get started are this is a pretty uphill climb coming in. Not a ton of grade, but just be aware this whole campground is on a hill. Sue can pan around and show you the mountains. But it is all on a hill. So just keep that in mind. There are a lot of cattle guards. They're very smooth. There is one concrete waterway right here, just before you get to the gravel, that is very deep. Slow down, pay attention. You can see where a lot of jacks have dug in the ground there. In general though, $14 a night with electric, $10 without if you do not have a New Mexico Parks Pass, which is pretty typical of all New Mexico parks. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to show you each site, talk about if there's any problems with the site. The bathhouse is real clean, 3 showers in I think the ladies side and 3 showers in the men's side. Super clean, kept clean. There's trash cans at every site. Rangers here, not rangers, the camp hosts here are very attentive. You'll see the gator running around this one all the time. He meets every camper, takes them to their site, gives them their pass. So very active. A lot of hiking, couple trails. There's a trail over here that goes around the campground. There's a trail over here that goes down around the hill. You can also go down to the next part of this park, which I forget the name of now.
Spring Canyon.
Spring Canyon, thank you, Sue. And that is only open, I think, Wednesday through Saturday? Wednesday through Sunday.
Wednesday through Sunday,
8 to 4.
4.
Yeah, 8 to 4. And there's some neat hikes over there. You can check out our other video about what we did in Deming. We'll show you that hike, and we'll show you some other stuff. But for this, it's just a campground review. This is just to help you pick sites. So why don't we go ahead and we'll wander up through, and we'll show you each site.
Site 0.
So site 0 is a good flat site. It is non-electric. These first 5 sites are non-electric.
And no water.
And no water. Plenty of room. A little bit of front to back slope, depending on how you park.
Site 1.
So site 1, we could fit. We would back in square to the picnic table, so our door would be facing the mountains. And we could fit no problem. So nice flat site too, not a lot of elevation change.
Site 2.
Site 2 is quite similar, very flat. You have this whole area, so where you guys are standing is already about 20 feet out of the road, and it's kind of a shared space between 2 and 3, but 2 and 3 are far apart. They're both plenty big, and they're both actually really level. They've done a really good job in this whole campground of getting the sites fairly level for as much of a hill as we're on.
So a little bit better look back there at Site 3. So if you were coming with a friend, this would be a really cool set of 2 or 3 sites between 1, 2, and 3, because they are all fairly close together, but they're still far enough apart that if you weren't together, you'd have quite a bit of privacy.
And we're going to stop right here for a second, and this is the day use area over here. So you can see there's 4 or 5 different shelters where you can set up and have a picnic with your family or whatever. There's a vault toilet over there, and that is the trailhead. And also, if you look off in the distance, the first building you see to the left of the yellow sign is the Welcome Center. It's a pretty good hike from here walking, but you can certainly do it. And then the gate is a little farther down and closes at night.
Site 4.
So site 4 is kind of huge, and it has 2 roads in. So it's kind of a pull-through, but you could pull through and back up beside the, on either side of the picnic table if you wanted. You could park sideways. If you park this way, you are going to be a little bit of a downhill cant. This way, they've got it pretty flat.
Site 5.
Is also pull through and also very flat, actually. We would be facing that way, and our steps would be actually really close to the ground right here, because it's probably about, in a 30-foot rig, you probably have about 6 or 8 inches of out of level, if that. So nice site.
Site 6. This one is our first water and electric site.
That is correct, and that is a perfectly flat site. You'd back in at kind of an angle, so 30-foot rig like ours would fit no problem.
Group site.
Yeah, so this is a reservable group site. I don't know a lot about it other than it is reservable. There is some power and water along the back wall, a lot of picnic tables and a shelter area. So if you have a large group, a lot of tents or whatever it may be, check it out. It might be a nice site. It's good and flat, kind of centrally located. The bathhouse is right over there, which is a little farther than it looks from here, but it's not bad. It's an easy walk. So we're not going to walk down through the dump station, but the dump station is down here. It's kind of backwards in a way in my mind. This is the entrance. So this is the way out, this is the entrance. So you want to come in here, go around and come back out on your way out to dump, just so you're on the right side down there. A couple
Site
sites.
7.
Yeah, site 7, there's another site over there, both plenty big. There's only a couple sites here that are really too small for like a 30-foot fifth wheel.
Site 20.
So this is a pull through, pretty flat. From this cone to that cone is probably about 8 inches, 10 inches of difference in elevation. So super easy to level up a rig. Nice picnic table area up there to, private.
Site 8. So we are viewing this from the back. It is adjacent to the dump station, which is right there. So the downside I see to this site, it is large and flat, but it is right across from the dump station, so you might get a little extra traffic and potentially a little smell.
But it does have shade for part of the day, and it is right beside one of the camp hosts. So
Site 9. This is a disabled accessible campsite, so you do have to have a disability placard or plate in order to register for this site. I believe you actually have to call to register those sites. Site 21.
So this one is fairly out of level, front to back. But like our rig, if we backed up onto the flat, the last 20 or 30 feet of the site is flat. So this would actually work for our rig, no problem. Just be aware that if you got a really long rig, like a big motorhome, the front tires are going to be way downhill down here.
Site 22.
Plenty big and plenty flat.
Site 23.
So 23 is a lot like the last two we've looked at. It's plenty big and plenty flat, but it does drop off on the front. So if you've got a 40-foot motorhome, the front tire is going to be out here a little ways, and you're going to have to put them up on blocks. So, but you could do it, no problem.
Site 10.
So 10
is occupied, so we're not going to look too closely at it.
But it is a pull through that does slope downhill, as you can see.
Site 12.
Big, flat, power and water. Not much else to say.
Site 24.
24 is plenty big, plenty flat. Nice location, a little close to your neighbors, as you can see there.
Site 13.
Another huge site, very flat, beautiful view. And
right next to the trail.
Next to the trail, and not a lot of neighbors. Some of the sites are closer together than others.
Site 25 is ours for the week.
Yeah, so that gives you an example. That's a fairly typical site here. That's a 30-foot fifth wheel. My truck is parked beside it. We're still 30 feet from the truck. This site has a lot of extra room here for whatever reason, but nice, flat, beautiful view.
Site 14.
And that's another beautiful site. Almost perfectly level. A lot of space over here to park a vehicle or something else out of the way. Or you could pull in the other way if you didn't want the hookups. Just a nice big site.
Site 26.
Also a nice big site. The only downside to 26 is you can see the picnic table right behind it, which we'll see, I think it's site 27 is my guess, but we'll see in a little bit.
Site 15.
So again, level, big, nice view. A little close to 16, but not terrible.
Site 16.
Really big, level. Hookups are over here, so you'd back in this way. Nice area over here. Plenty of space. We're kind of on the edge of the road right here, so it's a little hard to envision on camera. But this is kind of the road, so this is all campsite. So these would be some good sites if you were coming with a friend and you could get both of them.
Site 17.
17 again, it's occupied. There's no vehicle there, but it is occupied. Nice big site. Yeah. All sites have a fire pit, barbecue grill, and trash can.
Site 27.
So 27 is a pull through from the other side. And this is what I was talking about the picnic tables being really close together. You can see the power pedestal right there through the woods. and you would be parked right there beside it. So these two campers would be fairly close together. Probably two of the closest sites I've seen in here. Just something to be aware of. It's still plenty flat, plenty big, easy access.
Site 18.
So site 18 again, typical. It's huge, big,
Very
plenty.
flat.
Yeah, very flat. We're not walking in these sites because you'll notice that they're raked. So the camp host here, as soon as you leave, he comes in with this big. It's 2 yard rakes basically with a weight on it, and he rakes the whole site to get rid of all footprints and all tire tracks. He makes it just beautiful. So we're respecting that and not walking on them.
And this site, it would be great if you had a really huge setup because it's not only a very, very large pad, it also has miles of swing room.
Yeah,
You
and
get
plenty
absolutely any rig in.
plenty of place to park stuff. I mean, the road is all the way over to there, so you could park something alongside. There's a huge spot over there to park. So if you've got a great big motorhome with a 24-foot enclosed trailer you're tucking behind it, you could back the trailer in there, you could park the trailer here, and you could put your motorhome there. There's a ton of room. So yeah.
Site 28.
28, big, flat, a little close to like our site, but not bad. Doesn't bother anything.
Site 19, we're just going to give you a quick glance at because it is also occupied, and out of respect for the people staying there, we aren't going to show it too much. But again, it's a very flat site, very easy access, basically fit for most any rig. Site 29.
Yeah, and you will notice the park rangers do come through. I'm gonna say probably about 5 times a day,
Yeah.
give or take. Just keeping an eye on things. He lives right down there, so maybe you guys can see the blue porta-john out on the side of the road. It's just past the Welcome Center. He actually lives on site. Site 29. It's fairly big. It's not quite as deep, so if you've got a 45-foot toy hauler or something, you're going to be quite a ways out here, but still a nice site, fairly private.
Certainly for, 30 plus-ish foot, you'd be just fine on this site.
Yep. And that's it. That's the last site we have to look at in here. So we're going to walk back around, and if we seem really out of breath, it is because this is steep. It's not just because I'm old and fat, but hopefully you find that helpful. Like I said, for the most part, every site in here we could fit our 30-foot fifth wheel in no problem. A couple sites have a little bit of a neighbor issue that we mentioned from proximity.
A little bit of slope on a couple of
Yeah,
them.
a
but
little
not
bit of
much.
slope, but if you carry a little planking with you, some blocking, you'd have no problem. If the bathhouse is of interest to you, you can see where it is. It's kind of down around the bottom of the loop without a lot of walking.
And every single site, actually in every one of the New Mexico state parks that we have been in, has these little pavilions.
Yeah, the covered
And
picnic tables.
They're
Yeah.
great. We use these a lot. There does tend to be a decent amount of wind, particularly in the afternoon here. But so you may not want to put out your awnings, but that allows you to have shade no matter what time of day it is.
Yeah, and to close out, I would say that traveling in this area of New Mexico, be it, Carlsbad area, Roswell,
Dennis?
Deming, and then the last place we were, Alamogordo, it does seem in these hills that in the morning it's almost dead calm, and around noon to 1 o'clock the wind does start to pick up. So if you don't like driving in fairly substantial winds, my suggestion is you get on the road early. Now most of these places have a check-in of 4 p.m., these state parks. We have hit every one of them between 12 and 1 o'clock and have not had anybody say a word to us. Matter of fact, we got here at 12:30 and the gentleman met us with the gator right here, asked us what site. We told him, he said, follow me, and took us right to our site. Worst case is you're going to get here and your site is occupied because they don't have to check out until 2. So if you get here at noon and your site is occupied, find a place to park out of the way, go take a hike, but you're not driving in the wind. So it depends on how much it bothers you driving in the wind, but I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Oh.
So if you appreciate us doing these campground reviews and showing you site by site so that you can know which ones are suitable for your rig, we'd appreciate it if you would like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.